Here's a dictation from Ms. Timms. I know Brendan and I talked to you in reference to all this stuff, but I just wanted to cover it. Kind of give you an idea as far as, I know you talked to other people and so forth. Things get a little confusing. But this is the area that you guys are at. We just, as I showed you before, this is the, your house is in this area here. So all these termites, these are customers that are current with Orkin. That just shows you just Orkin alone. So there's a lot of pressure. Everyone in the area either has termites or is going to get them. First of all, this is the graph of the house. So where we saw evidence of termites is here in the garage area here. I guess they were getting into the plywood there. So we know that the termite barrier underneath the structure is not working for them to be able to come up inside the actual cracks there in that one concrete area. Starting on the outside of the home, conducive area, we talked about this as far as these pieces of wood going down and the dirt touching it. So Brendan, all you have to do is just remove the dirt from around there to keep it clear from the dirt touching the wood. Because that attracts the termites into, especially this beam here would be more, because termites were actually right there on the inside, so coming up and getting inside that wall is what you don't want to happen. Another issue we have is the actual old planter that you have here. And what they did is they covered it and so forth, so as soon as you can get rid of that, the better for conducive areas. Because of your sunken in area here and that dirt that was there, that's probably why you possibly saw the termite activity in this area here, is because of this planter. Usually we have problems with those areas. What we would do is drill and treat every 10 to 12 inches along this wall, getting this treated this side of the footer so that they can't come up on the inside, because we can't get it from the outside because it's sunken in. So we got to treat down through this area here. So on the outside, wherever there's dirt, we're going to trench along the wall. Trench through here, 4 gallons of chemical for every 10 foot, soak into the footer. Trench in here, trench along this wall. Around the back where there's concrete, we're going to drill every 12 inches. Trenching and treating down to the footer. You got all this trenching here, drilling here, coming around, putting that full barrier underneath the structure. So wherever the termites are going to come up, we want to make sure they cross over that zone. So the treatment we use is Termidor. When they cross through there, they're going to basically get infected by the treatment as they come up into the home, go back down, and they touch one another and they infect one another, and that's how we kill them off. You're going to hear differences in termiticides used. Premise is what our competitors used as well. They'll say it's better treatment. Actually, Termidor SC is still the best, even though Premise company actually did sell over Termidor to somebody, another company, BASF, but it's still showing to be the best treatment possible. So it's not about the treatment, it's about the execution and getting it properly underneath the structure, because they have to have 6 inches or 6 seconds of exposure, and I'll explain that to you in a second. So working on this old area here, as far as the old patio kind of add on there, you have to understand Orkin's going to treat everywhere the termite's going to be able to come up to reestablish that barrier. You have cabinets right here. This is where your actual pantry is at. So there's an old foundation wall right here, so we want to drill and treat around here so they can't get into this cabinet area. As well as your island is right here. We want to drill and treat on this side so we can get that covered so they can't come up into the island there. And then you have your short wall that's right here. So we want to drill on this side of this wall and on this side of this wall here, getting this wall treated from this old outside wall. So if you don't treat that, the termites will be able to come up in there, and we just don't want any damage whatsoever. Next, working on the bathroom areas. So here's your bathroom areas, what we want to do. Brent, I know you did tell me that it's possible termite damage in those areas. Even if it's not, we're still treated the same because all these plumbing areas have to be treated. So we have to put the foam inside the walls for all this plumbing here. Get underneath this bathtub, which we have access to that Whirlpool bathtub you have to get all this plumbing treated. So treating underneath the bathtub, we want to put up that foam application underneath there to make sure we get all this plumbing treated with the foam so they can't come up that dirty area underneath the bathtub. We also want to treat inside the walls, so your plumbing is going to be coming up those walls there. We want to get that foam to wrap around the plumbing as well as get soaking onto the sill plate as well as the 2x4s going up. So that's what I'm talking about. Execution is the fact that you might have a zone going down the footer, but if you don't have enough exposure when they're coming up in, they're going to be exposed some more inside these areas. So we want to get total exposure so they can kill themselves off. Lastly, this area here, your cracks that you have under the floor. So we know that the crack goes through that bedroom like this and goes to this sunken in area. You said it goes all the way across to those closets that way. So we got to treat everywhere the walls will touch that crack. We got to get those areas treated, as well as the inside of this sunken in area, and make sure so they can't come up that wall, and also the crack that's right there. We want to make sure the application's there. So how we drill and treat this, we want to stagnant drill. So we drill here, 12 inches further, drill here on this side, 12 inches drill on this side, 12 inches drill on this side. And we want a staggered drill to cover that whole crack so that they can't come up these walls. The termites, if right now we have to just assume that the termite barrier underneath the structure is not working, so that's why they come up all these areas that we want to cover. We want precise treatment, so we have our flow meter showing exactly to the technician how much is coming out. So it's 4 gallons for every 10 foot soaking in the footer, and all the different applications. This is covering us to know that we have the exact amount. So the flow meter is going to separate us from most everybody else. Sure. So the process in place, basically I'm the inspector. I come out and graph out all the information here, making sure everything's done properly. Technician comes out, verifies my work, making sure that he does the proper job according to the graph and specifications. Any changes he'll have you initial. Then we have a manager come out, does a quality control, quality audit, and he's the one that's going to verify to make sure the job is done properly. He's the one to make sure if your house gets pulled for an audit that it's going to pass. And then I come back 90 days later to make sure the termites have stopped. So there's a process there. It's eliminate the saying the job is as good as the guy coming out. And everyone's covering each other. So Orkin's protecting the brand, protecting the customer, and making sure the job is done properly. So a lot of differences is a foam application, all your plumbing's done, it's important. All the old outside walls are done, your cracks are done, the sunken in area where your planter's at is done. All the outside, that's simple, everyone else is going to do that. We want to make sure the cracks in this areas are done as well and make sure we treat those areas. So it's a very thorough service, as well as the foam inside the walls. These are all extra applications, so it's an aggressive service, it's a premium service, and Orkin only wants to do it the right way. Unfortunately, I wish I could be more competitive in pricing because I'm not going to be. If I take away a lot of these features and so forth, I could be more competitive. It's a 3-year guarantee that we're offering because these termites, they still may be able to come up in the home. We want to be able to work on them some more because they can't detect the treatment. So if they come up, doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that we can work on it some more, but they may be coming up for the first 3 years. But right now, because they've come up in this area here, is just telling us that there's just no more barrier underneath the home to protect it. So remember the cost I was telling you about. We'd replace the joist was about $6,700. You just do not want to deal with termite damage costs. We're in an area here in Arizona that it's actually reasonable pricing. We're not in California paying $5,000, $10,000, $7,000 for termite jobs. But it's just, if you don't want the proper service, we just can't do it. We have to do it the high end, all the mixing, all the process in place and so forth. So it's very important to understand all that. So the treating price, this is Orkin doesn't want you to pay a single penny for the first 90 days. We want to make sure you're happy first with the service. The total trade-in price is the $31.79. You can break it out in payments. We do have an advocate program. So if you want to ask me about the advocate program, and I've asked the manager, she was with me, Brendan, Dawn was with me today, to make sure if you guys, be able to qualify for that. So there's a discount program. All we ask is that we can do the service on a day that we are available to do the service, as well as, ask you for referrals in the area. If I need you to call or do a referral, I'm going to send you a testimony of one of our customers who did an extensive, investigation on everybody, all the companies that came out to her through the state of Arizona, and she still chose us because of all her findings that she found. She just wanted the right job. So anyway, so you won't have to pay for anything for 90 days. You can choose the smallest payment if you like to carry it for some time. Like I said, the advocate program, I can't tell you what the discount is. It's based off of a daily thing. It's like a marketing thing. So I can get that to try to help you out with a discount, okay? So I'm sorry if things are getting confusing. I know you hear a lot of information and it's getting a little confusing. So call me if you have any questions about it. The one main thing that's so important in our industry, and we follow a lot of companies, because premium service, you have to sacrifice price. To have a great price, you have to sacrifice service. So we're there at the top premium service. Brendan, I had to respond to you in the same day. Within an hour, I contacted you, and that's the expectation that you should have, that we'll do it right away. So when you call the companies, we have to see you the same day. So on retreats, we have to be out there as soon as possible for you as well. So hopefully set the standard. I know you'll see a difference on the inspections as well. So thank you so much for calling Orkin. Call me if you have any questions. Thank you.